Win and we're in, lose and we're probably out. It's really that simple here for our Denver Broncos, who started the year with a record of 2-5. Just 10 teams in NFL history have made the playoffs after starting 2-5. That's a 6% rate. But our team has found a way to not only survive, but also thrive. We've won 8 of our last 9 games, getting set for this matchup against the Colts. But what really makes this game special is it's not just a win and in for us, it's also a win and in for the Indianapolis Colts. If they win this game, they're in the playoffs. If they lose, they're out. It's really that simple. And the scenario is quite easy for the Colts. If they were to beat us, they would have the same record as us, and thus they would have the head-to-head tiebreaker, meaning they would pass us in the standings. And obviously, if they lose, well, the highest they can get would be 8th place. As for us, we are currently the 6th seed, and if the season ended today, we will be playing against the Jaguars in the first round. In the last episode, we had our final prospect profile of the year, going over the linebackers and defensive backs in this year's draft class. And with the exception of the declaring underclassmen who have not yet been included, we have now gone through every position group within this year's class. We also played this game against the Browns in the last episode, winning 27-21. A lot closer than it should have been, being that the Browns have the worst record in the league. They just clinched the number 1 pick, and we were seconds away from losing this game. The Browns had it at our 3-yard line right at the end of the game, and they couldn't score. Cameron Ward was terrific. He got hurt. And then Diddy Watson was terrific, but we gave him a nice happy ending with the game-clinching sack, our 8th of the game. Bo Nix played quite well too, throwing for 252 yards and a pair of scores, helping lead us to the win. And that sets the stage here for our matchup against Indianapolis. And let's talk about the scenarios for us making the playoffs. If we win the game, it's pretty simple. We're in. There's not much else to go over there. But if we lose, there is still a slight shot that we can make it. We're going to need a lot of help, though, and it's going to take multiple games across the rest of the NFL to go our way. But with the crowded wildcard race here in the AFC, there is a pathway for us to get in if we were to theoretically lose here to the Colts, involving the Dolphins and the Texans, who are currently our 2 biggest threats for those last wildcard spots, along with Indianapolis. I would also look at Jacksonville and Buffalo. They haven't clinched their divisions yet. Ironically, they play against each other. I think it would be better for us if Jacksonville won this game. That way they clinch the division, because if they were to lose this game, say Indy beats us and Indy clinches the division, Jacksonville has the head-to-head tiebreaker since they beat us earlier in the year. The Texans are currently a game behind us. They play against the Raiders. Jalen Daniels and Devin Neal, I would love one more favor out of you guys. If we finish with the same record as the Texans, they also had the tiebreaker since they beat us earlier in the year. The Dolphins play against the Jets. Ironic, because we've been rooting against the Jets all year with their draft pick, but New York is playing some good football. Since the bye week, they are 4-0 after opening the year 1-12, and now we need the Jets to win this game. We did not play against the Dolphins. However, they would still have the tiebreaker over us because, again, given the scenario that the Colts were to beat us, they beat Indianapolis. So they would have had the head-to-head over the Colts. The Colts would have had the head-to-head over us, and we would be knocked out of the playoffs. So basically, it's pretty unlikely that both the Texans and the Dolphins will lose, being that they're both playing against pretty bad teams. So basically, we've got to win this game against the Colts if we want any chance to make the playoffs. And of course, the scenario is the exact same for Indianapolis. Win and in, lose and they're out. So Bo Nix is going to talk to us about the bye week, which is weird because that was like week 9. But apparently our self-scouting helped Josh Reynolds get 9,000 XP. So that's a win. And then we're going to go back to a storyline that was brought up right at the beginning of the season regarding quarterback DJ Uiagalelei. We obviously made the decision to sit him, being that we're not going to start an undrafted rookie over Bo Nix. And in doing so, he'll be getting 40,000 XP points, which is equivalent to 4 skill points, and we'll be able to up his rating quite a bit. Now, I don't see DJ Uiagalelei as a long-term starter, and certainly not here, but this should be a nice boost for him. He's currently the 50th best quarterback in the NFL. We'll see how much that goes up. I'm going to put 1 into improviser, and then I think the other 3 into field general. The accuracy is the area of his game that I think needs the most work, so that's what we're going to focus on. And as you can see, a lot of improvements here, especially in his accuracies. He went from the 50th ranked quarterback in the game all the way up to number 35. So I guess he is theoretically a fringe starter, and he's not under contract next year, so maybe somebody's going to shell out some money to him and have him compete for the starting job at the quarterback position. Let's look at this matchup against the Colts, who have had a strong season, one of the best offenses in the NFL, third in scoring, first in the AFC. These guys can put up points, but their defense, it's a little bit of a weak spot. The Colts have been very streaky throughout this season. They won 3 games in a row to open up the year, including a 45-7 win over Seattle. Then they lose 3 in a row. Then they win 3 in a row. Since then, though, they've been a little bit inconsistent. They're only 1-3 since their bye week. Now, albeit that one win is a blowout on Sunday Night Football against a really good Ravens team. So yeah, the Colts are really strange and very unpredictable on a week-to-week basis. But again, this offense is fantastic. Much of that is because of the development of quarterback Anthony Richardson, who's already become one of the best signal callers in the NFL. 35 touchdown passes, 71% completion percentage, currently in second for the MVP race behind Josh Allen. And he's got a great group of skill position players with Jonathan Taylor, Josh Downs, Michael Pittman, and Adonai Mitchell. As good as the offense is, though, I'm not sure this is a playoff caliber defense, and I could see this game being a shootout. I do want to point out as we hop into this matchup, this is one of the 4 o'clock games of the week. The Miami Dolphins have already played against the New York Jets, and they won. So that means it is official. If we lose today, we're out. So the stakes are as high as it gets in this game. The winner goes to the playoffs, and the loser's season is over. Even though this is a regular season game, this really is a playoff game because the winner moves on, and the loser is done. So we're going to treat this as such. Benjamin Morrison brings it to the 26 as we take our first look at Bo Nix in the biggest game of his NFL career. And I'm really curious to see not only how this team responds to the pressure of this essentially being a playoff game, but we're on the road. You best believe Indy is going to have this joint rocking. And it's certainly going to be a challenge for our offense to deal with the crowd noise. From the 26, Nix looks to throw it on first down. Under pressure from Latu. He's got it to Franklin with a nice block. Jukes away from the defender and gets around 13 yards. It's all about getting these receivers open in the short game, letting them make plays after the catch, and when somebody's open deep, don't be afraid to take the deep shot. Here's Franklin again. He brings it to the 39-yard line. A quick start for Bo Nix and Troy Franklin. That one up the middle, and the Bronco offense is looking good early. Bo Nix, I get it's early, we're only a minute in, but he looks pretty comfortable throwing the football as he rolls out to the right under a lot of pressure. On the run, it is caught! What a catch by Marvin Mims, who's been one of the hottest receivers in the NFL and one of the biggest reasons why this offense has played so much better during the win streak than we did earlier in the season when he was mostly injured. Javonte Williams on first down, going backwards, a loss of 2. Good play there by the Indianapolis run defense, as now it's a 3rd and 4 from the 16. Denver in the red zone. You best believe they don't just want a field goal, though. Nix looks to throw it, looking short, and it's tipped for Dulcich and incomplete. So the Colts get the stop. No funny business. Denver's going to take the points. 33-yard attempt here for Will Lutz, who's only missed 3 kicks all year. This one is up and through, so the Broncos' opening drive results in a field goal. It's 3-0, and we take our first look at the Indianapolis Colts, led by Anthony Richardson. He led the Colts to a playoff spot last year, and he's looking to do so again this year. With how quickly he's become one of the best quarterbacks in the league, there's no reason to think the Colts won't consistently be battling for playoff spots over these next few years. So get used to this, Indianapolis fans. From the 26-yard line here on first down, Richardson looks to throw it. Under pressure, he'll go short. That one is hauled in, and a nice play after the catch, fighting for extra yardage. It's a first down for the tight end, Jawan Johnson. From the 38-yard line, Richardson looks to throw it again. Under pressure, going to roll out to the right, and he looks to run with it. Breaks the tackle and gets the first down. That was the rookie Marvin Grant looking to bring him down. Grant has missed the last 2 games with injury. Good to have him back, but not good to see him getting trampled over by Anthony Richardson. Play action. Richardson looks to throw it under pressure. He is sacked. It's Jonah Ellis who brings him down. Denver's defense leads the NFL in sacks. They got 8 last week against the Browns. And now it's a 3rd and 6 for the Colts. Richardson looks to throw it wide open as Josh Downs. and he brings it to the 18-yard line. Savon Revel led up a similar deep play on a corner out last week to Elijah Moore. It looks like he's crying there. I'm crying watching him try to cover these last couple of weeks. Indy now in the red zone from the 18-yard line. Richardson looks to throw it. He'll go short. It's caught by Jonathan Taylor, and he gets hit hard by the rookie Jeffrey Bassa, but not before Taylor gets it to the 8. Our defense has been the strength of the team this year, but we really struggled last week against the lowest scoring offense in the NFL, so it's not that much of a surprise that the Colts look good early. Richardson on the run. It's nearly intercepted. Jonah Ellis had his hands on it, but he's unable to come down with it. No funny business here for the Colts. They're going to take 3 points of their own. A chip shot, 21 yards for Greg Zuerlein. The kick is good, and we're tied at 3. Both offenses with good opening drives, but they're unable to score in the red area. Nix on the run, lofts it up for Mims. He makes the play, and he's out of bounds past the 40. Unfortunately, this highlight reel throw is coming back. A holding call against the right guard, Quinn Miners. He's missed the last couple of games with injury. He is back as well, as it's now a 3rd and 10 from the 31. Bo Nix looks to throw it. He'll go short. It's Tez Johnson who hauls it in, but he only gets 6. E.J. Speed brings him down. Denver's going to have to punt it away. And Indianapolis gets it back, looking to take the lead. Here is Richardson, 2nd and 10 from the 28. Has all day to throw it and is eventually sacked on the play. Baron Browning with the initial hit, and Jonathan Cooper brings him home. Coop had the game-winning sack last week against the Browns. 3rd and 13. It's broken up by Riley Moss. Would not have been an easy play for him to come down with, especially considering Josh Downs basically had to play defense there. But it was in his hands. Colts punt it away. Denver back with it. 2nd and 2. Franklin in motion. Nix rolls out to the right. On the run with a strike. It's Marvin Mims to the 46. It seems like Bo Nix and Marvin Mims have really perfected the play-action crossers for Mims. He always seems to be open, and Bo consistently is making those throws. Tied at 3 through 1. It's been a very evenly matched game so far. Neither team has really made a big move on the chessboard. We'll see if the Broncos are able to really get something going here in the second quarter. Bo Nix is looking awfully good so far. Marvin Mims has been very productive once again. So we'll see if those two guys can continue to shine. Here's Javonte Williams to the outside. Gets the first down to the 31 for around 15 yards. Denver did not get much from the ground game in the first quarter. Here's to hoping that changes here in the second. Following play. Play action. Here's Nix on the run. Again, Marvin Mims wide open on the crosser. He gets it at 12. These two guys are just such in sync with each other, and it's becoming a no-brainer what we do with Marvin Mims' contract next year, being that he'll be on the last year of his rookie deal next season. From the 9, 2nd and 8. Denver looking to punch it in. Here is Nix. He goes short. Javonte Williams is close. 3rd and 2. They might be in 4-down territory now, and if they don't get it here on 3rd down, it'll be an interesting decision. Let's not let it come to that, shall we? 3rd and 2. Nix, end zone, incomplete. I think if he threw it a half second earlier, Marvin Mims comes down with that, but he threw it a little bit late to where the safety was able to make the play, and nearly decapitating Mims. 4th and 2, we're going to go for it. Scared money ain't make no money. Javonte Williams, whoop, jukes away from the defender, and he's in for a touchdown. Ifeatu Melifonwu got his ankles crossed on that play. DeForest Buckner won his rep off the line, nearly was able to make a play in the backfield, but Williams was able to burst upfield quickly, and that's the difference of 7 points. Here's Jonathan Taylor up the middle with a first down run to the 49-yard line. I will say if there was one positive from our defense last week, other than all the sacks, is that the run defense was pretty good against Nick Chubb, but so far they're not looking so good against Jonathan Taylor. Big run to the outside, traveled out of bounds at the 37 by Marvin Grant. So the Broncos scored, but the Colts appear to be marching step for step right back. Short throw for Juwan Johnson. He gets a first down to the 25. We haven't seen too many big plays from the Colts other than that one catch by Josh Downs where he was wide open. It's all about the short and intermediate game for Indy, but it's working. Here's Richardson under pressure, tripped up at the line and sacked. The rookie Michael Williams with his 10th of the year, and Richardson appears to be hurt. Going to the trainer's table, it's a bruised ankle. I can't imagine he's going to stay out of this game given how important this one is for the Colts. Nonetheless, it is 4th down, so they'll bring the kicking unit out anyway. 40-yarder for Greg Zuerlein is good. He's 2 for 2 now, and it is a 10-6 ball game. Broncos back with it, under 5 to go in the half. Marvin Mims on the RPO. What a nice play after the catch. I thought he was going to lose yards. Instead, he ends up with 13. 5 catches on 8 targets for 74 yards. It's been a busy first half for Marvin Mims, continuing his red-hot last, really, 2 months at this point. On the run, this time Mims is covered, so Nix goes short for Troutman, and he loses 3. It's Bentley Mitchell, the first-round rookie out of South Dakota State. Small school guy who brings him down, and now it's a 3rd and 4 at the 48. Nix looks to throw it, going short. Harrison Whaley will get the first down. That was a close call. A pretty nice tackle there by the rookie out of Texas, Jedi Barron, drafted in the 3rd round. But nonetheless, the Broncos keep the chains moving. 2nd and 7, flag on the play. Nix wants it all. End zone! Broken up, incomplete for Marvin Mims. I don't think it's really going to matter. This one's going to be on Denver anyway. A holding call against the right tackle, Mike McGlinchey, and that'll move him back 10 yards. After a gain of 5, it's now a 3rd and 12, nearing the 2-minute warning. Here in the first half, Denver leads 10-6. With Troutman in motion, play action. Nix under pressure, and he is sacked. It's Bentley Mitchell, the rookie, who brings him down. Kwity Paye with pressure as well. And that brings us to the 2-minute mark. No, wait, the Colts are going to call time. I don't get that at all, because now Rigoberto Sanchez can look to high point the kick, keeping it in the air for a while and letting the clock go. And as you can see, we just hit the 2-minute warning. Calling that timeout now feels like a pretty big waste for Indianapolis, and they only have 2 to work with. 3rd and 5 at the 29. Short throw, Juwan Johnson, first down, out of bounds. Tackled by Patrick Surtain. That will stop the clock, though, and more importantly, move the chains. 2nd and 7. Richardson up the middle, goes short for Taylor, and he is close, doesn't get it. Colts are going to use a timeout as it's now 3rd and 1. Even with there being less than a minute left in the half, there's still not much sense of urgency from Richardson. He's still looking short, goes for the short run play as Jeffrey Bassa is hurt. Strained pectoral for Bassa. He should be good to go for the second half, but we have to call a timeout there, which kind of sucks. The clock stops, and Indy gets to hold on to that last timeout. From midfield, Richardson goes short again. Juwan Johnson out of bounds for a gain of 9. The Colts are not pushing it downfield, and it's kind of working. They're moving it quite nicely. From the 40, 2nd and 1, up the middle. Here's Adonai Mitchell. Breaking tackles, gets it to the 22. Big play after the catch. Colts don't use their timeout. There's under 10 seconds left. Richardson goes short for Johnson. Wrapped up at the 20. The Colts are going to call their last timeout with 4 seconds, and they're going to bring out the field goal unit, looking to bring the lead within 1. Greg Zuerlein 2 for 2 today, looking to make it 3 for 3 as Coach Simeon Bonnet will use a timeout, looking to ice the kicker. 37-yarder here for Zuerlein to end the half. His kick is up, and it is good. Our score is 10-9 in favor of the Broncos going into the half. It doesn't really feel like either team has the momentum right now. The Colts do start off with the ball, so I'm curious to see how they're able to utilize that in the second half. Let's take a look at some scores around the league with some other playoff chases. We'll start with the Houston Texans. They're playing against the Raiders. The Texans need a win, and they need some help in order to make the playoffs. And currently, they lead this game 14-7 with this touchdown run by the rookie Ollie Gordon II. Now, normally we would be rooting against the Texans, but now that we know with the Dolphins result that we're out if we lose anyway, the result here doesn't really matter that much. I guess I want to see Jalen Daniels and Devin Neal win, but they're also on a division rival, and I like to be petty, so I don't know. Next up, let's take a look at the Chargers. They're facing off against the Titans. Believe it or not, the Chargers had a very slim shot of making it into the playoffs coming into the day. The Dolphins winning eliminates them, but that's not going to stop them from still fighting for their season, in essence. They lead this game 24-3 over Tennessee. 17 of 20, 3 touchdowns for Justin Herbert. He has been fantastic in this game. And last but not least, we're headed to Jerry's World, a potential Super Bowl preview. Not often do you see the number 1 seeds in both conferences playing against each other this late into the season. And so far, if this ends up being our Super Bowl, we could be looking at a really good game. This impressive touchdown by the rookie, Travis Hunter, leads the way for the Cowboys in a tie game at 14 apiece. Both teams looking to cement their number 1 seeds for good. Dallas at 13-3. The Chiefs, meanwhile, at 12-4. As we go into the second half, I don't really feel much better or worse about our chances. We do have the lead, but only by 1. And remember, the Colts do start with the ball in the second half. I think the biggest takeaway that I can get is that with the pressure of this being a really big game, Bo Nix has been really good. 16 of 20. He's been accurate. He's been efficient. He's pushing the ball downfield. I would like more than 10 points, but it's not really his fault. Defensively, it's been better than last week. But the short area of the field is consistently wide open for the Colts. Anthony Richardson's been able to excel there, and they've also really ran the ball well with Jonathan Taylor. Taylor hasn't gotten that much usage today, but when he has gotten the ball, he's been very effective. Currently 3rd in the NFL in rushing. So the Colts are going to start at the 22. It is Jonathan Taylor with it, up the middle, finds space, and will run for the first down. Wrapped up by Brandon Jones and Jeffrey Bossa, back in the game from injury, but not before getting it to the 36. 2nd and 3 now for the Colts. Richardson looks to throw it. He has time up the middle. It's Josh Downs, and he gets it to the 44. Downs has turned into Richardson's top target, and their chemistry feels very similar to that of Bo Nix and Marvin Mims. Mims and Downs, of course, same draft class, drafted only around 20 picks apart, and both of them have turned into fantastic players. At the 42, this one is caught. Michael Pittman Jr. breaking a tackle. Should have been a gain of like 2 or 3, but instead he gets 7. And that makes it a 3rd and very manageable, as he's got some words at the end of the play with Brandon Jones. 3rd and 1 at the 35-yard line here for Indianapolis. Taylor with it, and he will not get the first down. Jonah Ellis brings him down. 4th and inches. The Colts could go for the field goal and take the lead, but they're going to go for it. Interestingly, though, Richardson's an empty. Looking to throw it. Short pass, caught for a first down by Adonai Mitchell. It was a spacing concept. Everybody had to get open within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage, and there it's Mitchell who makes the play. Colts in the red zone now at the 15. Jonathan Taylor tripped up on 2nd and 8. I think that was the rookie Bossa who makes the play, and now it is a 3rd down and 10 at the 17-yard line. The Colts have scored today, but they haven't been able to find the end zone. Richardson breaks off the tackle, but he is still sacked. Mykel Williams with the initial hit, and Baron Browning finishes off the job. Double-digit sacks now for the rookie Mykel Williams. As for the Colts, they're going to have to kick another field goal. Greg Zuerlein from 44, his kick is good, and for the first time today, the Colts take the lead. Their offense has had no problem marching down the field, but they have not converted in the red zone. They still lead, though, as Denver gets it back. Javonte Williams to the outside, loses yardage. I want to point out that last drive by the Colts lasted nearly 8 minutes. This is our first drive of the second half, and there's a minute and a half left in the quarter. 3rd and 11. Here's Nix. Rolls out to the right, under pressure, looking to run for the first down, and he does not get it. E.J. Speed is able to track him down, and that's going to lead to a 3-and-out and a punt. Big play by Speed to prevent the first down as the Colts get it back. Final play of the 3rd, up the middle. That one is caught for a first down by Michael Pittman. The Colts are 1 quarter away from the playoffs, but it's still anybody's game. They lead at 12-10. Indy dominating time of possession there. Bo Nix threw the ball 20 times in the first half, but in the 3rd quarter, he ended up going 0 for 1. We had 3 offensive plays in that quarter. The defense is getting exhausted because they were on the field literally the entire frame, and the Colts are just going to continue these short passes, continue to march down the field, continue to wear us out. Michael Pittman with the first down there on a 3rd and 2. Following play at the 32. Richardson looks to throw it. Wash, rinse, repeat. Downs breaks the tackle into the red zone to the 19-yard line. The Colts are having all these routes within 7 or 8 yards at the line of scrimmage. Everybody's getting open. Everybody's executing. Here again, nice grab by Adonai Mitchell as he gets 9. This isn't really Anthony Richardson's game. He's supposed to be the big gunslinger, but with his improvements in terms of his accuracy, he can now play a little dink and dunk as he is sacked there by Mykel Williams. Another 3rd down sack by the rookie today. He's got a sack and a half in this game. That's yet another red zone stand by the Bronco defense as Zuerlein's kick from 32 is good. He is now 5 of 5 today. If the Colts do end up losing this game, though, they'll be able to point the finger at the red zone offense. They've moved the ball well down the field, but they haven't been able to score touchdowns. Denver back with it. Nix under pressure. He's got a wide open man. It's Zamir White, and he gets it to the 50. Nice throw there by Nix. He had a defender. I think that was Speed blitzing right in his face. Following play with 6 to go. Back to White on the screen. Another first down. He gets it to the 39-yard line. Even though it feels like the Colts have had the ball the entire second half, the deficit's only at 5. A touchdown does take the lead. 1st and 20 after a holding. Nix is sacked. It's a loss of 13. Bentley Mitchell with his second sack of the day. Huge play for the Colts. 2nd and 33. Franklin's going to make up some yardage. He gets 14, and that leads us to a pivotal 3rd down and 19. Nix lofts it up downfield. It's caught! Tez Johnson with the first down to the 24. Going no huddle, looking to move fast. Javonte Williams, strong run. He gets 9. Denver's got it in the red zone, but they can't make the same mistake that the Colts have done throughout this game. Got to get a touchdown. Got to take the lead here. 2nd and 1. That's White in motion. Nix looks to throw it. He goes short. Tez Johnson to the 10. The Broncos are marching closer and closer as Josh Reynolds appears to be banged up on the play. 1st and goal, 4.5 minutes to go. Nix looking to throw as a clean pocket. Searching, end zone, touchdown! Who else? It's Marvin Mims with the score. And the Broncos take the lead here in a win-or-go-home Week 18 regular season game. The most pivotal drive of Bo Nix's career ends up being one of his best. 6 of 6, finished with a touchdown to Mims. And now the Broncos are going to go for 2. Look to make it a clean field goal lead. With how many field goals the Colts have kicked, this could be important. Nix, quick throw, it's caught! Tez Johnson with the 2-point conversion. It's 18-15. Denver's up by 3. The Colts have not scored a touchdown all day. Can this be the drive they finally do it? Jonathan Taylor on first down. Doesn't get much, maybe 3. Marvin Grant was the first one there along with Nick Benito. We have not said his name much today. The projected Defensive Player of the Year has really been held in check as it looks like he jumped off sides. It's been a tough day in the office for Nick Benito. The left tackle, Bernard Raymond, has done a terrific job of essentially keeping him out of the backfield. Nick Benito, normally a game wrecker, hasn't been able to do so today. 2nd and 2. Anthony Richardson goes short. That's caught for a first down. His go-to man, Jawan Johnson. That's 2 straight weeks where we have not been able to cover tight ends for the life of us. From the 44 with just over 3 to go. Back to Taylor. Maybe gets back to the original line of scrimmage. The Colts do not appear to be in any rush so far. And, I mean, that's how they've managed their offense the entire game. Run the ball, look short, but here's an open man downfield. It's Michael Pittman to the 35. That may be the first time that Richardson has thrown the ball past the first down marker since, like, the first quarter. And I don't want to be too critical because Anthony Richardson has been really good. He's been really accurate. It's just that all of his throws are within 5 yards. As that brings us to the 2-minute warning. Broncos lead 18-15, but the Colts are in field goal range, and I'm sure they'd love a little bit more than that. From the 35, short throw, Downs gets 5. Marvin Grant with the big hit. Colts, again, not really in any hurry, and they really shouldn't be. Richardson looks to throw it up the middle. It's Johnson, and he's in for a touchdown! It took basically the entire game, but finally, the Colts are in for a score. Anthony Richardson leads the potential game-winning drive. Jawan Johnson, who's had a huge day, is the one who makes the grab, and the Colts take the lead. They're up by 3 right now. The extra point would put them up by 4. Assuming Zuerlein makes this kick and the deficit is up to 4, we're going to need a touchdown on this drive to keep our season alive. So this is a big kick for Zuerlein, and it is through without much stress. All right, here we go. The biggest minute and a half of this entire franchise so far. If we score a touchdown, we're probably going to the playoffs, and if we don't, season's over. Tez Johnson on the return, has space to the right side, and he's wrapped up by the kicker. That's kind of embarrassing, but a good return. We'll take it. Great field position, starting at the 36. We needed Bo Nix to be clutch last drive, and he was. Now we're going to need him to do it again. 1st and 10 for the 36. Minute 20 and all 3 timeouts. Nix lofts it downfield. It's broken up. Looking for Mims. That's Mike Hughes in coverage. And that one is incomplete. We wanted to take the shot on first down. Might as well test our luck. 2nd and 10. There's Mims, his 7th reception of the game, and he gets around 9. Now it's a pivotal 3rd down and 1. We've got 2 chances here to punch this in with 1:12. Nix alone in the backfield looking to throw it. He's going to look downfield. Wide open! Savion Williams! Whoop! He jukes away from the defender and is wrapped up inside the 20. A gain of nearly 40 yards for Denver. A broken coverage by the Colts. There was nobody on the right side of the field, and even though I don't think Williams was the initial read, when he's that wide open, how is Bo supposed to ignore? The Broncos used their first timeout here at the 20-yard line on 1st down. Nix, under pressure, goes short. Zamir White, out of bounds for a gain of 5. Clock stops at 57 seconds here. Folks, you might want to get comfortable and grab a snack because this next minute is going to be quite exciting. 2nd and 5, hit as he throws incomplete. That pressure by DeForest Buckner might have saved the game for the Colts because Marvin Mims was going to be wide open up the middle of the field. That's a touchdown if Buckner's not there in the backfield. 3rd and 5, here's Nix, goes short, and it's caught for a gain of around 3 by White. There's a flag on the play. It's going to be a holding against Denver. What would you rather if you're the offense? 3rd and 15 or 4th and 2? The Colts are going to decline the penalty. I'm kind of surprised by that. And now Denver's got to get it. Season's on the line. If we don't get it, it's over. Zamir White gets the 1st down and then some. It's a gain of 8. And we're going to call our 2nd timeout, not wasting any time. So now there's around 40 seconds. We've got 1 timeout, and we've got the ball at the 4-yard line. 1st and goal. Nix looks to throw it, scrambles to the right, on the run, looking, and he throws it away. Nobody was open. We do not want to force it in. We cannot turn the ball over. That would end the game. Now it's a 2nd and goal at the 4 with 39 seconds. Nix alone in the backfield, under a lot of pressure. He's got to get rid of it. Cannot take a sack here. That's a good play by Bo Nix, as Joel Bitonio appears to be banged up. I think he's only going to be out for a play or so, but it's our most important play of this series. 3rd and goal at the 4. Javonte Williams in the backfield. Now it's another pass. Nix looking for the corner. It's caught, but out of bounds. That was an unbelievable catch by Mims, but Bo Nix did not put that in an area where he could drag the feet in. 4th and goal. Game on the line. Season on the line. We're putting it in the hands of our quarterback. Nix rolls out to the right, floats it up, and it is caught for a touchdown! It's Greg Dulcich! A bodacious final drive! Do you believe in miracles? The Broncos take the lead with 30 seconds to go! Bo Nix leads a potential game-winning drive, and if the Broncos hang on, that will push them into the playoffs. We've still got to get a stop here defensively. The Colts have all 3 of their timeouts, and all they need is a field goal. They've already kicked 5 of them today, as they'll start at the 31-yard line. I would say they're about 35 yards away. Now, Anthony Richardson has only thrown the ball 5 to 8 yards down the field consistently. There's got to be more of a sense of urgency here if you're the Colts. You need to move quicker. You need a chunk play of around 20 yards or so to feel confident. From the 31, here is Juwan Johnson once again over the century mark in yardage. 11 catches for 102 as the Colts call a timeout with 15 seconds. At the 43 now, Richardson looks to throw it. He'll go short. It's broken up. Chris Abrams-Drain nearly had the game in his hands, but he could not come down with the interception that would have sent Denver to the playoffs had he caught it. 2nd and 10 with 10 seconds. Up the middle. Adonai Mitchell to the 39. The Colts are going to use their 2nd timeout with 7 seconds, and now it's decision time. Do you run one more play to get closer? Doesn't look like they will. Broncos used their last timeout here in an attempt to ice the kicker, as the Colts are still going to bring the field goal unit out. A 56-yarder for Greg the Leg Zuerlein to tie the game and send it to overtime. The kick is no good! And the Denver Broncos are going to the playoffs! Greg Zuerlein misses it wide to the right, and with a couple of kneel downs from Bo Nix, this game is over, and the Broncos season is not. From 2-5 with a 5-game losing streak, when the season looked all but over, to winning 9 of our last 10 games and miraculously punching our ticket to the playoffs here in Season 2 of the series. What a game, what a season it has been, and what a season it will continue to be for our Denver Broncos. And now going into the playoffs, the best thing that I can say about this team is nobody in the AFC wants to see the red-hot Broncos right now. Again, winners of 9 of their last 10. What a fourth quarter by Bo Nix. We needed 2 touchdown drives out of him, and that's exactly what we got. Here's a look at the fourth down play that gave us the lead. Got to give Dulcich a ton of credit because that's not an easy catch to make. If Greg Dulcich would have dropped that pass, I would have been disappointed in him, but I would have understood it a little bit. Ifeatu Melifonwu was coming right at him like a freight train, but he's able to hang on and help us advance to the playoffs. Wow! Broncos country, I hope you're enjoying the ride. So along with Bo Nix being clutch down the stretch, I think, again, the biggest reason why we won this game was our play in the red zone. The Colts had 4 trips in the red zone, 3 field goals, 0 touchdowns. I'll tell you what, though, Anthony Richardson was fantastic. He played to the game plan perfectly. I would have liked to have seen him launch the ball down the field more, but he was really accurate and did what they needed him to do. Bo Nix was also fantastic. Best game of his NFL career, without a doubt. Those 2 drives in the fourth quarter, he was surgical. The first 2 seasons of his NFL career have been rocky. He has not been the consistent franchise quarterback that we had hoped for, but he's really playing the best ball of his career right now. Both teams ran the ball fine, although I thought our run defense was really good in the second half. Juwan Johnson with a big game. Marvin Mims, regular day in the office, 8 for 98 in a score. Tez Johnson made some huge catches down the stretch. Zamir White made some big plays in the fourth quarter, including that 4th down run to set up our last touchdown. Savion Williams had the big 36-yarder earlier on that drive, and then Greg Dulcich with the touchdown. Again, that's not an easy catch to make. He deserves a lot of credit for hanging on to that football. I thought the offensive line had one of their better games of the year. And then defensively, it wasn't perfect. We allowed a lot of yards. We allowed 6 scoring drives. But in the red zone, we held them when we needed to. Mykel Williams is turning into a superstar in front of our own eyes. He had 2.5 sacks today. And in a game where Nick Benito did just about nothing, and the Colts were able to neutralize him, the rest of the pass rushers really stepped up. And that's what's special about this team. Benito is the alpha, but we've got other guys who can carry the load as well. Browning had a good game. Cooper had a good game. Ellis had a good game. And then, of course, Greg Zuerlein, 5 of 6. But he missed the one at the end that mattered the most. So as I enter here before simulating, Mykel Williams has 5 skill points, which he got off of 15 TFLs and double-digit sacks. He now sits at 11. And it's kind of crazy to think about because through the first half of the year, Mykel Williams was a non-factor. However, he has turned into a star over the last 8 or 9 games. He had his best game of his career today, but he's been playing well for a while now. And when head coach Simeon Bonnet drafted him 8th overall last year, I imagine Bonnet saw a lot of himself with Mykel Williams. And I expect this pass rush to continue to get better and better with Nick Benito hopefully signing an extension this offseason. Jonathan Cooper hopefully coming back with a new extension. Obviously, Mykel Williams is here for the long haul. Baron Browning is here for the long haul. We've got quite the group up front, and we should be terrorizing quarterbacks in the AFC West and beyond for years to come. Mykel Williams now an 83 overall, including his morale boost. Look at all the pluses he gets here for hitting those milestones here as a rookie. Now, unfortunately, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, even though that's what it seems like right now, because we do have a new injury. In the fourth quarter of this game, Josh Reynolds broke his ribs. We can do without him. He is a depth receiver, but he is a solid and savvy veteran. I think we are going to put him on IR. He could return, theoretically, if we make the Super Bowl, which we've won 9 of 10. I'm not ruling anything out. But I think I'd rather put him on IR and look at free agency, try to add a ring-chasing veteran. Let's simulate the week, take a look at some results around the rest of the NFL, and find out who we'll be playing against here in the first round of the playoffs. So the Dolphins, Texans, and Bills all won. The 3 teams who we needed to lose ended up winning. So had we lost this game against the Colts, all of the tiebreakers we would have wanted, we would have lost out on. But since we won, none of that matters. Players of the week, we've got Michael Penix, again, 2 weeks in a row. He's not joined by Bo, unfortunately. It's Justin Herbert, Arnold Ebiketie, and Matt Milano, who had 3 interceptions of the Buffalo Bills, who will be hosting the Denver Broncos in the first round of the playoffs. We are headed to Orchard Park, New York, to face off against the NFL MVP, Josh Allen, and the Buffalo Bills as the 6th seed in the AFC. This is what our final playoff bracket ends up looking like here for both sides. With Buffalo beating Jacksonville, they move up to the 3 seed. We stand pat at 6, with the Steelers winning and taking the 5 seed. They'll head to Duval to face off against the Jaguars in the first round. With the Jets losing, by the way, we officially had the 5th overall pick in this year's draft. So for a second straight offseason, we at least will enter the draft with a pick in the top 5. Obviously, last year we moved back from 3 to 8, acquiring Mykel Williams and this Jets pick. What a trade that ended up being. So before we wrap things up, though, I do quickly want to go through our stats along with our stud and dud of the year candidates, which you can vote for down below in the description. We've got to start things off talking about Bo Nix, who, again, it was not a perfect second season by any stretch. And early in this season, he was not playing well. Now, sure, the offensive line was bad, the receiving core was bad, but he wasn't doing himself any favors. However, during this win streak, he has played considerably better. I think Marvin Mims being back is probably the number one reason for this, but he has completed at least 65% of his passes now in 7 games in a row. His efficiency has drastically improved over the second half of the year, and there's some real optimism for us going forward with Bo Nix as the quarterback, assuming that's the route we go with. Of course, losing Ashton Jeanty was a huge deal, but we have not lost since he got injured. And had he stayed healthy, he probably would have been in the top 5 in terms of rushing leaders through the air. The season that Marvin Mims had was incredible, averaging nearly 80 yards a game, finishing just shy of 1,000 yards, and only 12 games played. He was good last year, and he was good the first few games of this season before he got injured. But when he came back, he was an entirely different beast. And I think Marvin Mims coming back from injury is sort of what changed this team's fortune. And without him, we would be nowhere near the playoffs. What a season for him. And what a season for Tez Johnson. 5th rounder, leading the team in catches. Troy Franklin was solid. Dulcich wasn't great, but he made the biggest catch of the year. Nobody on the offensive line allowed more than 5 sacks. But the offensive line as a unit was not great. They've played better as the year has gone along, but they still were not good. And then defensively, this was our team's weakness last year and our strength this year, particularly the big boys up front. We led the NFL in sacks. I'm not going to gloat about Nick Bonitto right now because I'm going to in like 2 minutes. I want to talk about the rest of this group. Mykel Williams, 11 sacks. Jonathan Cooper quietly finishes with 10. He was great in the second half of the year. 7.5 for Browning. Bossa and Sanders were solid. Secondary, up and down. They had their good moments. They had their bad moments. And then Will Lutz, I got to give him a shout out. He was inconsistent last year. This year only missed 3 kicks. And then Rigoberto Sanchez was pretty solid as well. So as we look at our stud and dud of the year candidates, you got to keep in mind this is an expectations-based award, and then also based on what their ratings are. For our first candidate, to the surprise of absolutely nobody, it is Nick Bonitto. He was one of our stud of the years last season, but obviously we have to put him back. He won the Defensive Player of the Year in the AFC, and he won the Best Linebacker, and he completely deserved it. 28 tackles for loss, 15.5 sacks, 4 forced fumbles. The dude was a game wrecker, and he was very consistent on a game-by-game basis. I think the matchup against the Raiders is where he really came out. And then he had multiple other dominant games throughout the year. Wasn't so good today against the Colts, but otherwise, what a season for Nick Bonitto, the best defensive player in the NFL. Of course, we've got a bunch of other good pass rushers with him. Baron Browning, Mykel Williams. We've given those guys their flowers. But what about Jonathan Cooper? He's been one of the unsung heroes of this team. Cooper is a free agent at the end of the year. We extended him on a 1-year contract last year. I certainly did not see this coming. 16 TFLs and 10 sacks. He went from a decent rotational player into one of the most valuable defensive players on the roster, and it doesn't hurt that he's a team captain as well. The third spot is going to be Drew Sanders. I like including players who have had to face some kind of adversity, and for Sanders, that was missing last season with an Achilles tear. He comes back this year, and he was really good, making plays in the run game, 19 TFLs, 4.5 sacks, impressive as a blitzer. Him, Bossa, and Grant as the linebackers of the future. I'm really excited about that group. Other guys I thought about include Tez Johnson and Marvin Mims, but I felt like those guys defensively probably deserved the ratings boosts a little bit more. As for our duds of the year, the offensive line was not very good this season, and the two guys I look at in particular are Quinn Miners and Mike McGlinchey. Miners is supposed to be one of the best offensive guards in the NFL, and he has not been that in this series. He was better than he was last year, but he still has not lived up to his contract at all. And then Mike McGlinchey got benched. He had to return to the starting lineup with Nick Gargiulo getting injured. I honestly think Gargiulo is the better player, but McGlinchey as well has not lived up to his contract. The other player we're going to include here is John Franklin Myers. Of course, the buzz with this team has been the pass rush, but John Franklin Myers has not really been a part of that. He was a stud of the year for us last year, so now he's a dud of the year. His numbers don't look that bad, but when we really dissect his season, he really has not been much of a factor. I would have expected him to be a way more important piece than, say, Jonathan Cooper coming into the year, but Cooper was by far the better player. JFM finished with 9 TFLs and 3.5 sacks, but you got to keep in mind, 3 of those sacks came last week against the Browns. And yes, he was awesome in this game against the Browns, but he only had half a sack the rest of the year. He did miss a couple games with injury, but he still played a regular amount of snaps and only had a half sack other than that game. I also briefly thought about Pat Surtain, I'll be honest, because he didn't play like a 99 overall, but he was still good, so I decided to leave him off. But if he is mediocre again, then we might be having a different conversation. Let's take a quick look at the Bills. We're going to go more in depth in the next episode, but of course, it's Josh Allen's show. He won the MVP this year, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, but they haven't been able to get over the hump with him in the playoffs. Much like us, the Bills are playing their best football. They started the year off 2-4. They won a bunch of games in a row. They've been a little spotty, though, over these last couple of weeks, but they are coming off a strong win against Jacksonville and have won 9 of their last 11 ball games. I imagine that pleases Sean McDermott. So that'll wrap up the episode. Next time around, wild card round in Buffalo against the Bills. The Broncos have won 9 of their last 10. The Bills have won 9 of their last 11. The hydrogen bomb meets hydrogen bomb. Should be a fun one. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.